What's up, Knucklehead? I am Lupine Fiasco, and this is your daily FaB gameplay. For anyone who's new to the channel, welcome to the jungle. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I'll talk through turn cycles and give my thoughts on the line I would take now compared to the line I took then at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like the upcoming US Nationals and, most importantly, walk away with that shiny cardboard. If you would like to check out the deck I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, there is a FaB deck link available in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. The best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you access to the DFG Discord and the shiny cardboard Talishar card back. At higher tiers, your name will appear in every DFG video. You'll get bonus DFG content every week, and there are even more benefits to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Now, let's talk about our sideboard and about our game plan. Boltyn is in an interesting position right now where he has so many viable builds. It can be very difficult to board into any unknown Boltyn. He has Raiden aggro, he has Sabers combo, he has value Sabers, and he has Great Axe fatigue. I am going to board into an unknown Boltyn as if it was Raiden until further notice. Raiden is fine at beating Illusionist. It can clear out Spectra with Raiden for 0. I like to imagine that Boltyn can do very well with an aggro build into Kayo or into Ninja with just Raiden aggro and Lumina Ascension plays. But that might not be the case going forward, depending on how Mistveil shakes up the meta. If a different Boltyn build becomes more mainstream, I might have to change up the sideboard. We did just see Great Axe Fatigue make it very far in calling Warsaw at the same time. That is a harder list to play than Raiden aggro, and I think a lot of players are not going to want to play a fatigue style of Boltyn. So let's board for Raiden aggro and move forward. It does mean that we are on Savage Sash, blocks 2, great at putting good aggressive turns together. Not that Boltyn has too many on-hits that we need to care about. Not every list I run into is playing Command and Conquer, despite it being very good. Cards that we do probably want to block would be Bolt of Courage, Illuminate, Engulfing Light. But those are all very situational. They all rely on Boltyn having charged. And at a certain point, Bolt of Courage is just a 2-card 3. And I'm okay with that. As far as what cards go into the 60, we are going to cut out Cast Bones, and we are going to put in Clash of Agility. Clash of Agility is a weird one with Boltyn. If he is charged in the turn, his hero power is going to buff attacks that we block with attack actions like Clash of Agility. At the same time, Boltyn's deck is full of dinky little attack actions that we will win clashes against. So if we can make that agility, it might very well be worth taking an extra point of damage over the top of the block. I'm still working on that. I do think that Cast Bones is probably too slow for this matchup. I do think that where we don't want to block Boltyn, we want the ability to do so, and that Wild Ride might be a little dangerous to play. But really the reason to play Clash of Agility is that we can preserve a little life against an aggro deck, and we are very likely to win clashes. So we are going to just move forward with that. We're going to avoid blocking as much as we can. We are going to attempt to use our flesh bag intelligently, keeping in mind that if Boltyn has Spirit of Irina on the field, that flesh bagging Lumina Ascension is no longer possible, but flesh bagging Beacon of Victory is. So we do need to think about it. It's a little bit of a nuanced decision. Let's submit deck and see how we do against this Warrior of Light. We will be going first, unfortunately, and this hand is very bad. I don't love the idea of letting Boltyn filter, but I also don't love the idea of passing with these two kind of junky blues in hand. I think Mandible Claw for 3, pitching the Wrecker Romp is fine. We Arsenal Ascend packing. We have a Clash of Agility to set up agility with. We hold a Smash Instinct in hand that will let us play Send Packing guaranteed. So very possible that we can get good value out of this hand on turn 2. But as far as a turn 1 play goes, this is just absolutely atrocious. Boltyn blocking with Command and Conquer is exactly what I want to see, considering that I would be enabling him to get value out of charging, giving something go again, and then using his hero power and playing Command and Conquer. As far as blocking this Express Lightning or not, we could just take 4 here, but if we do that, what are we doing on our turns? We are going to let Boltyn potentially give this go again, and we are going to make an agility so that we can now play our Bare Fangs, hopefully discard our Beast Within. We will just take 3 here. So we do take that extra point of damage. We've taken 5 this turn instead of just 4, which we would have taken if we let the Express Lightning hit. But we do get to send a Bare Fangs for potentially 8, and we even draw a card. Unfortunately, the 2 cards we draw are not very good. They are just 2 blues, so we are going to Mandible Claw Send Packing. Boltyn using Slap Happy is not something that I ever thought I would run into in a constructed format. But Prevents 2 gives Boltyn the Vigor. We'll see what he can do with it. We are just going to Claw Send Packing. We've already made a Might from Kayo, so discarding Windup would just make us 1 Might, which is less value than we get by pitching it to attack with Claw. Send Packing, of course, shows us the Bolting Blade in Boltyn's arsenal. I'm not expecting Send Packing to hit, but it does take multiple cards out of Boltyn's hand, and we know one of the cards we in Boltyn's hand is a Bolting Blade, which is just not good. The Vigor does absolutely nothing for Boltyn. I am not going to block a 0-power Raiden, because why would I? I am simply going to E-Strike for 7 and discard my Windup to make Might and Agility and arsenal this Blood Rush Bellow to set up. Boltyn essentially taking an intellect penalty because Bolting Blade is just still around, and I don't know what the other card in Boltyn's hand is, but it was not used for offense. With 4 reds in hand, I feel pretty bad about firing off a Blood Rush Sash this turn. At the same time, I also feel bad about blocking any of this. Because if we do just start putting cards in front of V or Raiden or the Bolting Blade that we know Boltyn has, we're going to take a lot of damage and do very little in response. So we might just be pressured into using Sash to Blood Rush here and just pray that something good comes of it. At the very least, I do want a flashback. Hopefully we're going to hit that Bolting Blade, which currently is a 0 for 9. At the very least, we are forcing Boltyn to put a card into his arsenal that we can hopefully hit with Command and Conquer. Considering that I may very well be playing Blood Rush Bellow on my next turn, I would like to block with Sash at some point. Here is where we're going to do that. Engulfing Light does put a card into Boltyn's Soul, but this is not what I want to use my armor blocking. We'll take 5 from the Raiden. Really good turn cycle from Boltyn. Very lucky on our end that we hit the bolting blade and not the engulfing light. We are going to fire off that Blood Rush, and we're going to pitch an E-Strike to do so. E-Strike being very bad with Blood Rush Bellow. If it does stay in our hand, then it is a 2-card 7 as opposed to a 2-card 8 to 10. And with Sash, that math can change even more. So we're going to break Sash. We are going to pitch our Assault and Battery to play Bare Fangs. Take advantage of that agility. Hopefully we hold on to our Command and Conquer. And at this point, we're looking pretty good. So we can Mandible Claw with Go Again, and then very likely just play Bare Fangs. Command and Conquer does have the potential to hit Boltyn's arsenal. We know it is a Bolting Blade. At the same time, with Boltyn keeping 2 cards, he can protect it. And Bare Fangs for 10 sounds a lot better than CNC for 6. We will just take advantage of having a Blood Rush. We get some blocks out of Boltyn. We deal a ton of damage and stick him firmly on the back foot. He just has a Bolting Blade rotting an arsenal. What do we want to do about this Illuminate? We can leverage some of our armor. We could just put Scabs and Bonebreaker in front of it and take no damage, but lose out on some value from Bonebreaker. With what we have in hand, just taking damage seems fine. We can pitch our blue to play a Mandible Claw, to attack with Mandible Claw, discard our Windup to make 2 mites and give the Claw Go Again, then pitch Runner to play Command and Conquer. We could also just CNC for 7, discard Windup to make 2 might, and then Arsenal Runner. But I like being a little more offensive considering that Boltyn is on the back foot. And what I may even want to do is kind of take the middle road there. We can block with Runner and Bonebreaker, make a might, then CNC for 8 and discard Windup to make 2 mites. We give up an arsenal, but we do get a might out of the deal, and we are not letting Boltyn put more cards into the soul, which could potentially be very good. Sort of the middle line here, the middle line of that middle line, where we are getting an arsenal, but we are not making additional might on this turn. I think that's fine. I don't know that I love that line as much, though at the same time, now we draw into a Blood Rush Bellow, which is going to pair very nicely with having multiple blues in hand and having this Runner and Arsenal. Do we want to discard Agile Windup on Boltyn's turn to get agility? I think we do. We give up the Swing Big to the Blood Rush, but we are going to be able to Runner for 8 with Go Again and refresh our agility. And then we get to do something else with the 2 cards that we drew from the Blood Rush. So I think discarding Windup here is correct, and I agree in the past as well. See what our turn looks like. It is just going to be Runner, Agile Windup, correctly noting that we should play Runner here as opposed to doing something less good than that. 16 damage Blood Rush with Might and Agility. It's pretty good for us. This is not threatening lethal, but we are at 19 to Boltyn's 10, and we still have plenty of armor left. So feeling very good about our position. Unfortunately, we do draw into a handful of reds that we really can't utilize very well. What we can do is prevent Boltyn from just getting free Go Again on this Light the Way, and that means blocking with probably Command and Conquer and Bonebreaker. We're going to take 3 from the Raiden, but we at least get to pitch 2 reds, Runner for 7 with Go Again, and refresh our agility. We take a little less damage, but it might be worth holding on to the CNC just to have an arsenal. No matter what we do, this turn is not great. Just refreshing our agility really is the best thing we can do with this turn. Value blocking with the Scabskins here doesn't really matter. I am not feeling like we are in any danger of losing this game. Just making sure that we get full value out of Scabskins if Boltyn manages to put some massive V turn together, but we just aren't going to let him keep the hand size to do that. Boltyn does get to come in for 6 with Take Flight Raiden, but we have an agility. We are going to get to lead with Smash Instinct for 5, go again Intimidate, take a card out of Boltyn's hand, put him down to 2, then throw Swing Big for 8. Very likely not dealing lethal damage depending on what we leave Boltyn with, but putting him to 1, leaving him with an awkward hand, and it wouldn't be putting him to 1. Smash Instinct would put him to 1 if he just gives us a single card and then Swing Big actually kills him. Catching Boltyn with a 2 block, bad news for him. Swing Big is just going to deal the lethal damage, and that will put it away. So not a particularly close game. Very good value per turn on our end, a lot less from Boltyn. A few notable things to keep in mind. Boltyn never charged a Banneret, so never got additional value out of his deck, never played Lumina Ascension, had a fine via the Vanguard turn. Our lucky Flesh Bag kept him off of that big Bolting Blade that would have made it a significantly better turn for him. But we did see really good Sash value. When Sash came out, We Make Best made a video really extolling the virtue of these 5-card mini blood rushes. It's really cool when you can pull that off with Sash, but the other thing Sash does is let you turn a very mediocre blood rush hand into a really good one. We had a single blue to pay for that blood rush turn, and we still got 25 damage out of it. A 5-card 25 damage blood rush is solid. Certainly not the best that this deck can do, certainly not the high roll that Sash is capable of, but turning a very mediocre blood rush into an excellent one will win you games, and Sash gives you that. So I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something. If so, be sure to take that like button to Pound Town. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. If you haven't already done so, please consider a YouTube subscription. It's free, it helps me out, but no matter what you do, catch me back here tomorrow for more daily FaB gameplay. And until then, take care.